Hi, how are you? Okay, so I actually filmed this yesterday and I was really not feeling how it came out. I will say, if you're new here, I have been having some energy issues, some brain fog issues, some when you are physically, mentally, and emotionally drained, it affects you in ways that you just don't even understand. I have been on my period for over a month now. I have been, it has been consistent bleeding. It has not stopped. I have had blood clots that are incredibly big. My iron is very low. I did go through 2 rounds of iron infusions in the hospital to try to, help increase my iron. But then the bleeding began and all of this stuff started happening. And so I am lethargic in a way that I can't explain. And it is affecting not just my speech, but my mood, my everything. And I didn't feel that it was fair to put something like that out. So here I am re-recording. It's been a very busy day. I've been putting off getting an oil change in David's car. I finally went this morning, got it done. I was in such a hurry because I was going to miss my appointment that I just grabbed a Premier Protein shake on the way out of the house. And it just so happens that there was a new coffee shop opening next to there was a new coffee shop opening next to, like, I would say like a mile and a half away from the dealership where I went to go get the oil change. So I stopped, got 2 shots of espresso over a medium cup of ice. I told them the largest cup you got, but since it's a grand opening, they only have mediums right now because they're giving away free drinks. I told them the largest cup you got filled to the brim with ice, please. I don't want any extra fluid. They're like, oh, that's an Americano. No, it's not, because an Americano has water and I don't want that. And they were like, well, I was like, look, I have a protein shake that I want to pour in. That's why I need the extra ice and the extra space. And they're like, oh, okay. She was like, wow, that's really smart. I drink protein shakes every single day and I never considered that, but I'm going to start doing that. I was like, girl, it has changed my life because I truly cannot get enough protein in. And I've been doing this probably since I was like 17. I've been making protein coffees. Now I stop a lot when I'm not on a weight loss journey, when I'm not focusing on my health, when I don't care what's going on. I don't normally drink them because protein shakes are expensive, and I'm not even going to pretend that they're not, because they are. But when I am trying to actively work on my health, and I do drink them, they help a lot. But I will say, I am lethargic, and it's probably going to come out in um in the video, and I'm sorry, but I'm trying hard. So we are talking about Delilah's second full month. Now, for those of you who do not know, I did not seek out Mounjaro. I did not seek out to begin this aspect of my journey. I had already lost 120 pounds on my own over about a year and a half. And then all of a sudden in January, I got the Rona again. And I just could not lose another pound. I would go up and down the same 5 pounds over and over for 6 full months. 6 full months. Now, over those 6 months, I actually, at the end of December, I think, is when I got the hypothyroidism diagnosis. So with that, my doctor's like, it is going to be harder for you to lose weight with your thyroid out of whack. And I'm like, okay. And then come June, I got a PCOS with insulin resistance diagnosis plus fibroids. I also got my iron deficiency diagnosis, and it's severe. Like my iron was like at 6.8, and they hospitalize you at 6 or less. So that 0.8 saved me from going to the hospital, but yeah. So then I started iron infusions. Then I have a severe vitamin D deficiency, like severe. And even taking my prescription vitamin D, which is 50,000 IUs a week, it's not increasing the way that it should. I also got a type 2 diabetes diagnosis, which I actually got the type 2 diabetes diagnosis and the PCOS diagnosis along with the fibroids in the exact same day, and the iron. I got all of those diagnoses in the same day. I also got, I began depot injections for my abnormal periods because of the PCOS. I get really, really bad periods that are incredibly painful, incredibly lengthy, and I lose a ton of blood. Now, I started depot at about 9:30 in the morning. So, I started in Mounjaro around 3:30 p.m. I went to the OB in the morning, and then I went to my PCP in the afternoon. And when I went into the PCP, I had already knew about the type 2 diabetes because I seen it on the blood work. And I said, okay. So when I went to the PCP and I handed them the blood work from the OB, she was like, okay. She's like, I'm sure you already looked at it. And if you haven't, your A1C is a 6.6, which is the lowest that you can be to be considered type 2 diabetes. So you have now crossed over. My A1C was always in the normal markers, but it is what it is. And I was like, okay. So, she said, I want to start you on a medication. I just tuned out and I pretended I wasn't listening because I had this talk once before about 3 or 4 years ago with a different doctor who told me that I had already lost 150 pounds, but I was slowly gaining everything back. And she told me, we really need to get your weight under control. I was 235 pounds. And up until that point, 320 something pounds was the highest I'd ever been. And I was down to 235. And at this appointment, I was already up to 250. So she was like, we need to get your weight under control. And she told me about weight loss injections. At that time, it was Ozempic. And I told her, I don't know. She also talked about weight loss surgery. And I told her I absolutely do not want to do weight loss surgery. I have many people in my family who have gotten it done, and every single one of them has gained all their weight back. I want therapy. And, I know that I can lose the weight on my own. And at that time, I had no other underlying medical conditions outside of asthma. And I had been newly diagnosed with an autoimmune disease that is causing inflammation in my body. Like you could see it in my hand where it's like swollen right here. This is the like most visual spot you could see it. This side does have it too, but it's not as bad. And this part, like it gets bigger, it gets lower, like it does what it wants. And it does pop up in some of my joints sometimes, but it's always there in my hand. And I had newly diagnosis of fibromyalgia. Outside of that, I was relatively healthy. My cholesterol was fine, my thyroid was fine, my everything outside of my iron and my vitamin D was fine. And so she was like, okay. She handed me the prescription anyways. So why don't you just look into it and see if your insurance will cover it? So I did. It was $1,800 because my insurance didn't cover it, and I never looked at it again. Never looked at a weight loss injection again because what for? I couldn't afford $1,800. There was no way that I can do that. So why even bother? So never even, didn't look into it, didn't research it, did nothing. I had heard about it on TV. Like, you would hear all of these like really scary stories, people pooping their pants and stuff. And I'm like, pooping your pants sounds pretty awful. And it is pretty awful because I have IBS. And so I have IBS. And I know what that's like. So, I've never pooped my pants, but I've been pretty darn close. And so, I don't want to add to that. So that's pretty much the only thing that I'd ever really heard of. So when she started telling me about this stuff, I was like, kind of la-di-da, 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 I don't hear you, because I didn't want to hear her. I wasn't sure if my insurance would pay for it. So why even bother? But literally within, like, I think the video before I went to the doctor that day, it was, I think, 2 videos before, because I did a video and then I went for my brother's graduation and I had planned to not post that week. And I ended up going to the graduation and I had a really hard time, like, functioning out there. And so I did post a video about that while I was sitting there moping because everybody else got to go do stuff and I didn't get to because I was in a lot of pain. And so I was like, but the video before that, I did talk about how I was going to give myself until my birthday because these past 6 months, I cannot lose any weight. I haven't gone 1 single pound down and held it. I was stuck at 115 at that point, 115 pounds down, which is a lot of weight still. But when you are pretty close to 500 pounds, that's not enough. I was still well over, 350 pounds. And I'm like, so I went down in my brain and I said, because I don't want to do weight loss surgery. Weight loss surgery has always been something that I've been terrified of because 1, I don't want to have a surgery. 2, I'm scared of surgery. 3, I don't want to do surgery. 4, I really truly know a lot of people who have gotten weight loss surgery, and every single one of them, with the exception of 1, has gained all their weight back. And the one who has not gained all their weight back never hit their goal weight. So, okay. And recently she's told me that she is gaining weight. She hasn't gone back to her, starting weight, but she has gained, weight back, and now she needs to figure out something to do. And it's always been something that I didn't want to do because I knew that it didn't really do much for inside of your head. And I know I have a lot of stuff going on in my head that helps to keep me at this size. Yes, I know that obesity is a disease, but a disease can't force you to eat. And I did that. I was eating. I actively made the decisions to put the food in my mouth that I was putting in my mouth. I actively overate for 30 plus years. I did that to myself. And the disease kept me that size. It helped get me there. As far as keeping me that size, it didn't allow me to, see what I was doing to myself or whatever it was doing, but it didn't put the food in my mouth. I did. So I knew that I needed work in here to be able to keep the weight off because I've lost weight so many times. I've lost over, 125 pounds, 150 pounds, many times on my own. I've gained it all back plus every single time. I have a problem where I don't like people to see me. I don't like people to acknowledge the fact that I've lost weight. I don't like to hear people say, oh, Delilah, you've lost so much weight. How are you doing it? Or you look so great. Blah, 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 blah. I hate that. It really does something to me here. It really, really does. It flips a switch inside of my brain that says, okay, it's time to put that invisibility cloak back on. It's time to gain all that weight back. It's time to hide again. And I just follow suit. And I'm working on it through therapy. I am seeing a therapist for the first time in I've seen therapy. I've been going to therapy on and off since I was 7 years old. It began as a court mandated therapy thing. After we had that traumatic event when I was 7 and my dad went to prison and all of that stuff, the court mandated that we go to therapy because they wanted to see. It was part of the whole sentencing thing for my dad. They wanted to see just how bad it affected us and if it was going to, add time to his sentence. So I've been going to therapy on and off since I was 7 years old, but I have never not once voluntarily sought therapy for my eating disorder. I do have binge eating disorder. I am a compulsive overeater and I'm just addicted to food, period. So food is my drug of choice. If you gave me a piece of cake and a bottle of alcohol, it would be a pretty hard decision for me to make, but 9 times out of 10, the cake is going to win. And, I'm just going to chase it with the alcohol because I'm not an alcoholic. I could take or leave alcohol, but I really enjoy drinking. Really enjoy it. So I'm not going to pretend that it's not a problem. Alcoholism does run in my family. I have had a couple of people pass away in my life because of cirrhosis of the liver caused by the alcoholism and the fact that they just couldn't give it up, even though they knew that they could die from it. So these are things that I struggle with and things that I deal with. And I told myself that I was giving until my birthday, which would have been, which is in October, but it would have been 10 months from the beginning of this year of not losing any weight anymore. I was going to go start seeking out options to get weight loss surgery, which is, I'm totally against it for myself, not for other people. You do what you got to do for you. But for me, I'm against it for me. But, and it was really hard. It was really, really hard for me to come to that conclusion, but I did. And then all of a sudden I get type 2 diabetes diagnosis in a matter of weeks from when I made that decision. And then the doctor said, I'm going to write you this prescription for Mounjaro. And again, I didn't hear what she was saying because I actively was trying not to hear. I was like, yeah, okay. I didn't want to hear it because I am very much that person who needs to research everything, and I will talk myself out of stuff. I was scared of what the media was saying. I was scared of the prices. I was just scared. And I didn't want to do it. So, but I did it. She gave me the prescription. By the time I got home, the pharmacy text messages from the pharmacy had came in that all 6 of my medications were in. 6 medications. I went from a rescue inhaler to, and an allergy pill to all of a sudden 6 medications. And I was like, okay. And that's not including the supplements that I need to take to, supplement my iron deficiency and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay. And it wasn't including the vitamin D supplements that I was taking, but then I got on the prescription relatively, I think this year is when I started the vitamin D prescription. But anyways, so I got home, 6 medications were ready. So that told me that Mounjaro was ready. I drove straight to the pharmacy, telling myself, if I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it. I am going to talk myself out of it. And I am going to go home and everything's going to remain the same. And then I'm going to have to look at weight loss surgery as an option. So I began Mounjaro that same day. I came home. I had not planned to talk to anybody about it. I had not planned to ever discuss it. I was just going to come home and do it. And I don't mean to, because I would have came on video and talked to you guys about it, but I wasn't going to talk to, David about it. I wasn't going to talk to my mom about it, my brothers about it. I wasn't going to talk to people about it. But I did have no choice, actually, because David came home as I was wiping my belly with the alcohol wipe to take my injection. And he knew I had to go get an injection that morning because I was starting the depot. So he thought that's what I was doing. He was like, do you need help? And I told him, no, I got it. And then he seen the box and he thought, that's not depot. And so he ended up looking it up and he figured out what it was. And then he came and talked to me and I was like, I just don't want to talk about it, period. So here we are. I started out not wanting to do this at all. I started out like, so no. And I really, truly feel like most of that is because I just was afraid of the price. I didn't think my insurance would cover it. I didn't want to ever get my, ideas in my head that I can do something that my insurance wasn't going to cover and there was no way I could pay for. So I came home and I started 2.5 Mounjaro on June 19th. So I did my first 4 shots and then my doctor moved me up to 5 milligrams. So I started 5 milligrams and this is my full 2nd month overview of how that went. Now, when I first got the 5 milligrams, my doctor sent it in and it took literal hours and hours. My pharmacy, they didn't have it. They were like, we don't know whether or not we're going to be able to get it because it's been telling us that we could get it the next day and it hasn't been coming in. I didn't want to have to miss my dose. So I started calling a million pharmacies in the area. I literally went and had to call 11 different pharmacies to find one that had it. It was only 9.8 miles away. So less than 10 miles away, and it took me 30 minutes to get there and almost 40 minutes to get home. But luckily, it was the same pharmacy as the pharmacy that I use, which is like less than 2 miles away from my house. And so they were able to seamlessly, like release it from that pharmacy to this pharmacy. And so I was able to get their last 5 milligram box. And I called them twice and I was like, look, they're like, it's still not in the system. I was like, look, please, I need this. I don't want to skip my dose. And I've been searching all day long and everybody's telling me the same thing. They don't know whether or not they'll be able to get it. And you have one box and I really need it. And she told me, I'm going to hold this box for you. And she said, I can see your prescription. I just can't move it over to ourselves. They have to release it and it can take a few minutes, but I can see that is something that is happening. So I will hold it for you. Don't worry about it. Just start heading this way. And I told her, I don't even know how to get there. I don't even know. My GPS tells me that it's going to be over 30 minutes to get there, but I am on my way. And she was like, okay. So I went over there and I got my 5 milligrams. I came home and I started 5 milligrams Mounjaro on the 17th of June. No, July 17th. I started 5 milligrams. It was my 5th shot. I did it in the left belly at 6:10 p.m. because it took that long for me to get home. I started at 347.8 pounds. I was hungry that day. I was very, very hungry. But once I took the injection, I ended up going to bed relatively soon after that. And I just wasn't feeling good. And I think it was just the stress of like going back and forth. And it was just like kind of, plus I was recovering at that time. I was recovering from a sinus infection and bronchitis and sinus infection. And, I just wasn't feeling great. So the next day, the food noise was gone. Friday, I did have some constipation, but I ended up starting my period on Wednesday night, like overnight. No. Yes? No, I can't remember. No. Okay. So I started my period Thursday night, overnight. And then on Friday, I was on my period. On Saturday, I was constipated. The food noise was gone, but I was breaking out. And Sunday, constipated. Midday, the diarrhea started. And then Monday, I didn't have anything. On Tuesday, I started getting hungry again, on and off. Then Wednesday, the 24th, I weighed in at 344.9 pounds. So that was a loss of like 2.9 pounds. I did it in my my left thigh. And I did have some stinging, some soreness, and some light bruising. Thursday, I didn't have anything. Friday, I had some nausea before bed. Saturday and Sunday, nothing. Monday and Tuesday, I was hungry, but I had been on my period all week. And then on the 31st, I did it in my left arm at 7:47 p.m. David did it for me, and I weighed in at 341.9 pounds. I did have some slight stinging and soreness and some blood on my arm injection. Now, on Wednesday, I was hungry and constipated, and I did have a headache. This is when the blood flow started coming in heavier and heavier. Now, there was nothing going on yet as far as like there was no nausea or anything, but I did have a headache on and off, and I was beginning to get lightheaded and tired and dizzy, and it turns out that that's part of the amount of blood I was losing and the clots that were coming out. It was causing those things. And then on the 7th of August, that was my 3rd shot, right? 1, 2, 3. No, that was my 4th shot. I weighed in at 339.9 pounds. I did it in my right arm at 5:34 p.m. I'm still on my period. And then on Sunday is when the swelling and fluid retention in my feet and calves came in. My calves felt like a wooden leg, like especially on my left side. I don't know why, but when I get swelling like that, the left side is always worse. Just like in my hand, it's always worse on the left side. But it felt like a wooden leg. It didn't even feel real. And then on Monday, I was still having that. Tuesday, I was still having that. And then I weighed in at the doctor on the 14th, which will make it a full month. I weighed in at 345 pounds. So I gained 5 pounds. Now, the doctor did tell me that she could see the fluid retention that was happening to me, and in my hands and in my feet, that the tingling and the weird feelings that I was having and the fluid retention are side effects of depot. So it could be not only from the depot, but it could also be from the extreme blood flow that I was losing and the blood clots that I was losing and all of those things. So we really don't know what they're from. They said the headache, the lightheadedness, the dizziness, like all of that stuff is more likely due to the loss of blood than it is to anything else. Now, so in total, because of that 5 pound gain, I only lost 2.8 pounds. And I did do my measurements, but again, I'm retaining water. So the doctor did tell me, you know, because I did express these concerns to her, and she was like, look, I'm not concerned about it. You have not gained weight according to our scales. You are, you know, almost 3 pounds down, which is okay because of the amount of period stuff you're going through and the fluid retention and all of these things. So I don't expect that you're going to get a lot of like measurement number losses, but you know, it's okay. Next month, hopefully we'll have your period under control, and then that'll help. So in my neck, I lost 1 inch. In my ankle, nothing. In my waist, I lost 0.2 pounds. In my belly, I lost 0.2, not pounds, inches. In my bust, it was 1.111, so 1.3. My wrist, nothing. In my thigh, 0.4. Now, in total, since the very beginning, that is a 1 inch loss, a 0 inch loss, a 0.4 inch loss. In my belly is the most at 2.3 inches lost. My bust lost 2 inches. My wrist lost 0.2 inches, and my thigh 1.7 inches. Overall, this month I'm swollen, retaining fluid. I've been on my period the entire time. Heavy period flow with major blood clots. I've had 3 migraines and 1 headache, and that is how this month has gone. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It is disappointing that it's only a 2.8 pound loss, but there's not a lot that I can do with that. That's where I'm at. And I did wake up the next day and I had already dropped like 2 pounds. And then as of this morning, I'm back to 341.8 pounds on the scale that keeps track. On the other scale, I'm already down to 340. So it's like, okay, we are losing the fluid retention. I can tell that the swelling in my feet and my calves and my hands have gone down a lot, but it is what it is. However, I don't know if I've told you guys about my new tradition. I started this tradition around Valentine's because my mother's birthday is the week of Valentine's, and I decided that I was going to start a tradition with her. Because how do you buy something for someone who has everything that they want? They could buy whatever they want for themselves. They don't need me to buy nothing. So I decided that I was going to start a tradition where I got her some gold-plated roses. These are real roses. You can see like the veins and stuff in the rose and the leaves. See the leaf veins? Come on, focus. You see the veins? And they're gold-plated. They're lacquered, gold-plated, and I got her and I the same color. Her birthstone is purple. My favorite color is purple, so I got us the same color to begin. And my plan was that every time that there was an occasion where a gift was involved, that I would buy her a gold-plated rose as opposed to just like, you know, buying her dinner or something. So I decided to also start the tradition with myself. And I got this one as, you know, the Valentine's gift to myself. And then I got the pink one next. Pink is my birthstone, and to me this kind of looks coral more than anything else, but pink is my birthstone, so I tried to find a pink one. When I started this, when I started the weight loss journey, because I hadn't come up with this yet when I very first started the weight loss journey. But when I started my GLP-1 journey, I got myself this purple rose, which is different from this purple rose, only slightly. And this is the representation of the beginning of this journey. Now, I am on a mission to reward myself with things that are not food. I'm trying to do that. So I have my gold rose collection that I'm gifting myself as, you know, I hit milestones and stuff. I have yet to, and then I have this, it's such a beautiful vase. It's like pink. It's like a sheer pink with like gold. Let me see. It's like sheer pink with this like volleyball texture, and then it has like these gold glitter flakes. I love this. This is actually the last vase my mom gave me before I moved away from California. She sent me those flowers to work. It had a big bouquet of roses, and I kept it because I really loved it, and you know, I loved it. So she gets to be a part of my home and a part of my journey without even knowing, because she doesn't know about this. And for me, I'm really trying to work on ways to reward myself that isn't food related. Instead of saying, hey, you know, I'm so excited, I've lost weight, or I've lost inches, or blah, 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 blah. Let's get something to eat, which is normal in my Mexican family. We celebrate everything with food. What? You lost 10 pounds? Let's go buy you a pizza, you know? And I'm trying to break that habit by doing other things. Now, one of those things is my gold-plated roses. Another thing is that I decided that I am now down, well, I'm up from that down, but I am down in total with the 100 and, because I ended up losing 5 pounds on my own again, right before I started the Mounjaro. I forgot about that. I was 115 pounds down, then I lost 5 pounds. I kept it off on my own. And then I started Mounjaro, so I was 120 pounds down on my own. And so now I'm 139 pounds down in total with the 19 pounds that I've lost over the last 2 months. So I decided that I was going to learn to take better care of my skin, because I'm getting older, so my skin is aging, and I'm going to start having aging issues. So I ordered this kit. It's called the Ritual Kit from Pendrell. And I thought it was a nice little cute box and stuff. And so I ordered it online, and it just came today. Now, according to them, this kit, I haven't, this is my first time opening it. I just busted the seal and took off the label as best I could so I didn't accidentally show everything. But this is how it looks inside, and it comes with like these 2 discount cards. One says 30% off your second order, 15% off your next purchase, and it comes wrapped like this. This particular bundle is created for all skin types, but they do have a one that is created for like aging skin and that kind of stuff. This says Aqua Glow Hydrate Mask with hyaluronic acid and squalane. It says clean formula, vegan, cruelty free, phthalate free, however you say that, sulfate free, paraben free. Then it has like all this stuff, and it says how to use it. Is this the daytime or oh yeah, this is for the evening. This is nighttime mask that you wear before bed. Then it has Aqua Revive Retinol Serum with vitamin E, copper peptides, and damask rose extract. This is an evening serum that you put on after, before bed. Then it comes with, so I guess I went backwards. This is the Aqua Glow Hydrate Serum with hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, and copper peptides. And this one is for use in the morning, a serum that you use after you wash your face. Then this is the Aqua Glow Hydrate Cream with hyaluronic acid and ceramide NP. I don't know what NP means. And this is a day cream. Yeah, a hydrate day cream. And then it comes with a vanilla lip balm. But I decided, since I'm doing all of these things for my mind with therapy and my body with losing weight, that I needed to do stuff for my skin as well. Because as you guys have seen, I have hormonal outbreaks during my period, PCOS issues, and I get nodule breakouts. 9 times out of 10, they will only happen during that time of the month. But in the times that it doesn't happen, then yeah. So I also have come up with a goal weight range, and that is going to be between 135 and 145. I am only 5'2". In my teenage life, in my child life, since I was at least 16 years old, I have never ever weighed less than 296 pounds. I would go up and down 4 pounds regularly, but 296 was that was where my body stayed, at least since I was 16. And I know that I weighed that for many years before that. When I was 9, I weighed 102 pounds, and I was ridiculed for being fat. I wasn't allowed to eat any of the birthday celebrations at my cousin's birthday that year because it was her 12th birthday. We were having a slumber party, and my aunt weighed all of us. And I weighed 102 pounds, and I was too fat to be allowed to eat. So, yeah, if I could be 102 pounds, I'm freaking 5'2". How tall could I have been at 9? I've been pretty much this height as long as I can remember, So it was probably maybe 4'11", 4'12", probably 4'10", 4'11" back then, and 102 pounds. But it is what it is. And I don't even know that I can imagine myself at that size. But, supposedly between 109 and 120 pounds is my ideal body weight for somebody my height, for a woman my height. And I'm just I don't know about that. So 135 to 145 is going to be my goal weight range, and we'll see how that goes. So this has been my overview of Mounjaro 5 milligrams in my second full month. Yeah, I wish that I had better news, but it is what it is. And I really, really, truly am grateful that although I was fearful and I didn't want to do it and I didn't seek it out and I didn't, go looking for this. I didn't ask my doctor about it. I didn't do any of those things. And I was afraid of it, that I didn't allow myself to talk, myself out of it. And I just did it. And I jumped in head first, and I went from there because I truly cannot explain to you just how grateful I am that this medication exists and that it's helping me to break free of what my body is wanting to hold on to. My body is like, you are not going to be able to do these things. And I'm telling my body, shut up, because I am going to do this. I am. And I hope you join me. And I hope that you are telling your body to shut up, because you're going to do it too. We can do it together. I just want to give you digital hugs. And I just want to let you know that I truly appreciate each and every one of you. We had a goal to hit 1,000 subscribers before my birthday in October, and we've already hit that. So now I moved the goal to 2,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, please feel free to do so. And, the liking, the commenting, it really helps a lot. It helps the channel a lot. And I appreciate every single thing that you guys make me aware of. And today's emoji of the day is going to be a rose. It lets me know that you made it all the way to the end. And I want to hear all about your week. You guys already know I love to hear about your week, the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to be able to support you and hug you through it, and, just be there to listen the way that you guys are there for me. And I cannot explain just how grateful I am to all of you, because we only have so many minutes in a day, and you're willing to share some of those with me. Thank you guys so much. I adore you, and next month is going to be a better weight loss. It's going to be a better weight loss. We are going to lose some weight next month. We're going to lose some weight. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.